Welcome, Diffit community. Matt, I'm the community lead at Diffit For Teachers, and I'm really excited to be on call today with my boss and our CEO and founder at Diffit, Vlad. We're going to be having a really exciting conversation about Diffit's newest feature, which is called Diffit Chat.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vlad Gutkovich. I'm one of the co-founders of Diffit. I think there's really two connected components of what we are offering that are, in my view, really meaningful improvements to how Diffit can deliver on our mission. Our mission has always been to help teachers do their best work more sustainably. And from the start, we've focused on a particular lens for that, which is, instructional materials and resources, whether it's to fill curriculum gaps, to help teachers augment or differentiate their work, the instruction in their classrooms. And that's always been grounded in the foundational belief that nobody knows the students in a classroom better than the teachers that are with them every day. That the intuition and insights that a teacher has around what can get a student to lean in, what can get a student to access content, to engage, to be appropriately challenged, to get the supports they need, the teacher's really the only person that knows in many ways. And so how do we empower them to flex their instructional materials in the ways that can support those goals and support their students in thriving academically? And so Diffit Chat is a tool inside of the platform that allows teachers to just say what they want and how they want to adjust their resources, or what additional components of the materials they want and would benefit a student or a whole class of students or a group of students. We've always had the power in many ways for the teacher to make those changes, but they would have to kind of like know their way around the platform. And I think as much as we've gotten feedback that we're like a really easy, intuitive platform, that's still got in the way of, in my opinion, too many teachers getting the power that we can offer, because they just don't have time. So Diffit Chat in many ways is really a swing to say, hey, teachers know what they need and know what they want, and they look at a resource and they know how they would want to adjust it to make it just right for their instructional needs, for the lesson and the students that they're working with. What is the easiest possible way we can give teachers all the power of Diffit without making them learn all the sort of bits and bobs of a platform? And that's what Diffit Chat really supports. This thing one is like, great, I want the reading to be a little bit shorter. Make sure you include this content in it. Bold the vocabulary words, chunk it out so that students, can do paragraph by paragraph, whatever. Just say it. And Diffit Chat, as it gets better and better, is going to do that for you.
It sounds like Diffit Chat is really bridging. A lot of the time, even in my own experience as a teacher, I could think and I could talk, and I used to have co-teachers that I would just be like, here's what we need to do. I need a station here and I need a worksheet that looks like this and blah, blah, blah. And then I sit down at the computer to create it. And that's where the blocks come up, is like,
exactly.
How do what's the word I'm looking for? What's the formatting? How do I make this look like a lesson plan for my admin, kind of a thing? And it sounds like being able to just take that out of the way and talk to chat in a human sort of way.
I think that's right. And that's, how do you make the toolkit as intuitive and responsive to what the teacher wants without making them sort of play the game of the tool, I think is the key here. So make it way easier to get exactly what you need when you have a vision for what that is. Thing two is provide some inspiration for the kinds of things you might want to do, right? Like, hey, here's your resource. Here are some things you might want to consider doing with it, right? Would you like to make this more accessible for struggling readers? Would you like me to add an activity that has students collaborate more? And you're like, oh, actually, that could be cool. And you click a button and it's like, great, here you go. Here's a couple of options for how you could scaffold it for English learners. Do you want to add images? Do you want to add a graphic organizer for helping students chunk their thinking? Do you want to add sentence stems? This sort of like, here's some suggestions, take or leave, I think is like really exciting, that are all very much grounded in like evidence-based pedagogy and all the stuff we've built and the way we've built the platform over the last 3 years. So that's thing two. And then thing three that I'm really pumped about is the extension of Diffit activities. You get printable, shareable graphic organizers that have student instruction, student response spaces that are grounded in, frameworks, instructional frameworks that teachers are familiar with. The limitation of that for us has always been, that's still sort of constrained to what we've built and these shells that we've pre-produced that then teachers can populate with content, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, I don't want just the graphic organizer that Diffit, has. I have a vision for something a little bit different. I want, a station rotation where, students can, work on the content or the skills that we're practicing in some different ways. Or I need a science lab with a table for students to write their observations. Or I want, word problems tied to high interest topics for, the math standard that we're covering.
Okay.
And this new sort of set of changes dramatically expands that.
And I can create these activities if I have time. Okay. But most of the time I don't. So Diffit Chat's going to help me get around that blocker. And then I'm honestly, I'm really, really excited about this sort of like pedagogical coaching that happens within chat, because that's the other thing that teachers don't have the time for. Classroom teaching is so busy and professional learning takes a back seat. And so to be able to have a tool that's going to do both of those things at the same time, to say, I see that you're asking about, scaffolds. Have you tried this vocabulary activity? This works really, really well for that group of students that you're looking for. That feels really, really powerful and really exciting to me.
I think you nailed it. Again, it's sort of the same basic idea and mission as always. How do we produce really high quality student ready instructional materials that help teachers do their best work? More flexible, easily adjusted resources that are tuned to what the teacher has in mind and the vision they have. Sort of this professional learning embedded in the act of resource creation that helps teachers either remember or learn new ideas for supporting the specific classroom situations they have, and a sort of much more flexible, broad range of the kinds of stuff Diffit can produce for teachers all come together. And again, we're not done with our work. It's just starting. This is our next, bet at how we can help teachers more. I am super excited to see how these service areas evolve over coming weeks and months as teachers use it and tell us more about what we do. And I think one thing I'll just say is like that's critical in all this is what's made Diffit stand out has always been our focus on quality, and whether it's like the cited sources for the readings or the sort of hard coded standards alignment we have, or the coherence between resources, or our attention to like specific frameworks for what makes a third grade reading in terms of like syntax and complexity and sentence structure. None of that is sort of changing with these updates, right? It's not like we're just, hey, okay, let's just do the AI stuff. It's like, no, let's keep the rigor, let's keep the coherence and the quality and the classroom readiness, but let's make it way more flexible and sort of helpful for teachers. That's the idea. Lots of work ahead, but I think I'm pumped to show up every day and push it forward.
It's a great tool. It's appreciated. Diffit Chat is awesome. And it sounds like we'll continue to be awesome and get more awesome. So thanks for everything. Thanks for taking the time.
Of course.